Frost on some of the farms. That's your forecast. The WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Folks, here at Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, we have got the brand new 2025 Chevrolet Traverse in stock, all redesigned from front to back, top to bottom, inside and out. Come see them today. We have got a great selection of these new Traverses ready for you to take home. And also, we got great discounts on our Silverado trucks. We got the regular cab, crew cab, double cabs, discounted up to $9,000 off. Great selection, Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, right on I-40.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome. You're listening to the Scoreboard. Yes, we are here. We are live for the next... Oh, man, we got a long time together. We got plenty of time together, ladies and gentlemen. We got, what is this, 54 minutes, 53 minutes, somewhere around there? Oh, we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun for the next hour talking about the world of sports, high school, college, professional sports. We have breaking news today. We are going to get a little bit farther into the NASCAR conversation that we started yesterday. Didn't really have enough time to cover everything from the Charlotte Roval. I'll tell you what, there is so much being talked about with that race. You would have thought that it was the most entertaining race in NASCAR history. Really. Alex Bowman getting disqualified. Joey Logano getting moved from not being in the round of 8 to the round of 8. It almost felt like we were at Richmond again and Clint Boyer's arms were getting tired. No, but in reality, that's not what happened. We did have a good race on Sunday. We had baseball last night. There were 2 games. Yes, 2 baseball games last night. Dodgers and the Mets, game 2. Yankees and the Guardians. Game number 1 of the LCS. We'll recap and preview a game later on tonight because guess what? We have more baseball coming up today. Yeah, there's more that's going to be coming up. A little bit later on tonight, the Yankees and the Guardians will have first pitch at my favorite time, 7:38 Eastern Time. Man. Nobody has been able to give me a straight answer on this yet, and I've asked, not only on air, but I've asked other people, like, why does baseball start at such a weird time? Like, everything else is, yeah, the football game's at 8:15. The hockey game, yeah, it starts at 7:30. Baseball, yeah, we're looking at 7:38. Like, on the dot. It is what it is, though. I love it. I think it's pretty great. We're also going to talk about the world of high school sports today. Get you caught up on soccer as things are toning down. And just a reminder for you, if you were able to join yesterday on Monday, I let you know I had to do my show not the same way I normally do, standing up, high energy. I still had high energy, but I got a sprained ankle still. So I got to sit down. I'm trying to stay off of it. It hurts. If you can see this ankle right here, if you're watching on the WSIC News app, or on the YouTube, the Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, we're everywhere. Like, that's why W means worldwide in WSIC. Not really, but we like to say it does. We're going to start our conversation today in the world of baseball. I want to get things from yesterday on the plate today, and then we might actually get into NASCAR right after it because I do want to continue to talk about the Roval. I know it's Tuesday, we're moving on, but there's still some things that I think we need to discuss regarding NASCAR and the decisions that they make and the playoffs in general, so we'll get to that later on today. But we're going to start in baseball. The LCS was last night for the Mets and the Dodgers, game number 2. And the New York Mets were able to tie up the series at a game apiece. A grand slam in the second inning really propelled them to the victory. The Mets put up 6 runs in the first 2 innings. Then they got a nice insurance marker in the 9th, and that was enough to take down the Dodgers. Now, that series is going to make a turn on Wednesday and head to New York. We'll spend the next 3 games of that series in New York. And that's another thing that we talk about when we look at baseball playoffs. You know, basketball and hockey in a 7-game series are a little bit different. You go 2 games for the higher seeded team, the better seeded team, I should say. And then it's 2 games at the lower seeded team's home stadium. And then you flip-flop game for game after that for games 5, 6, and 7. Baseball is a little different. You have the first 2 games at the higher seed, the better team's home stadium. And then the series goes 3 games to the team that isn't as well in the standings. You know, they're all playoff teams. They're just as good as one another now. But you go to the lower seeded team's home stadium for 3 consecutive games. And I've always thought that it's a little bit of a disadvantage for the home team at this point, because exactly what happened with the Mets. They won a game in LA, and now if they just win their home games, they move on. The home field advantage thing, it swaps so much in other sports, and in baseball, it really only has one chance to swap. There's really no other way to do it, because if you don't win your home, if you lose one of those home games in baseball, you're done. You got to go on the road to clinch the series at some point. But when it's 2-2, 1-1-1, which basketball and hockey both use, there's a little bit of leeway. If you don't win the first 2 games on the road, you still have a chance game 6 to clinch at home. I just feel like it's a little bit of a better system for the playoffs, but that's not how it is. So the Mets win last night 7-3. And they tie the series at 1. So now home field advantage switches over to the Mets, and the Mets will be going home. It looks like we have Luis Severino, former New York Yankee, slated to start that game, and Walker Buehler of the LA Dodgers. Now, obviously, that is subject to change. It's baseball. Things change on the fly. I don't think it's going to. I think those will be our matchups going into the series in New York when we have 3 games in New York. And no matter what, we will get 3 games in New York, by the way, because the Mets were able to split in the first round, first 2 games, I should say. So Walker Buehler for the Dodgers, Luis Severino, former New York Yankee. That's going to be an interesting storyline if the Mets continue to win and the Yankees continue to win. I'd love nothing more than to see Luis Severino starting a World Series game against the Yankees. He was their prized pitcher for so long until they got Garrett Cole. But Luis Severino for the Mets may be starting tomorrow. Now, in the American League series from last night, it was the Yankees and the Guardians. The Yankees got out to an early lead in this one, dropping 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and they added a couple of insurance markers along the way in the 4th and in the 7th inning. The Guardians only able to muster 2 runs in that one. The New York Yankees take a 1-0 series lead. Now, game number 2 of the ALCS is coming up later tonight. Like I said, 7:38. Weird time. Gotta love it. 7:38. I think that's exactly when first pitch is going to be. Could be something like that. You know, when you see a football game starts at 1 o'clock, it's like, yeah, it starts at 1 o'clock, but really we're going to kick off at like 1:08, 1:10, 1:12. It's not like European sports. You know, European sports is like, hey, the soccer game starts at 7:30. We are starting at 7:30. And we're not putting any commercials on TV while they're playing, which is, you know, awesome. Wish the U.S. would move into that model. We'll talk a little more baseball on the other side of the break. We have our first commercial coming up. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to cover today, including some breaking NFL news from earlier today. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, that cooler fall air has arrived, and we'll just be downright chilly, really, for much of the rest of the work week. Plenty of sunshine. High temperatures only getting into the mid-60s for this afternoon. We go back down to around 40 tonight. A couple of spots could even dip into the upper 30s around the outlying spots and farms, and low 60s for the rest of the work week. A couple of nights could even dip into the upper 30s, and a little bit of patchy frost on some of the farms. That's your forecast. The WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Listen, save, enjoy. The WSIC app, available now in your app store.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Lost Worlds Brewing Company in Cornelius presents their Sunday Fun Day on October 20th. Fleetwood Mac tribute band The Chain and Untethered Soul with frontman Nick Prestia take the stage for a day of live music. Lost Worlds Brewing is ready to welcome a big crowd to their back parking lot with a concert stage and sound system from Waves Entertainment. Lost Worlds off West Catawba Avenue in Cornelius presents Sunday Fun Day with an outdoor concert on October 20th. Monthly trivia with the WSIC gang is back at Micaiah's in Mooresville on October 22nd. Join us at Micaiah's off exit 33 from I-77 for Halloween-themed trivia on Tuesday night, October 22nd at 8 p.m. Trivia winners will receive a family 4-pack of tickets to the Renaissance Festival. Have some October spooky season fun with WSIC on-air hosts and try to win Renfest tickets with Halloween trivia Tuesday, October 22nd at Micaiah's in Mooresville. The Dirt Track at Charlotte Motor Speedway presents the World of Outlaws World Finals on the 6th of November through the 9th. Catch Dirt Racing's top 3 series in a title-deciding 4-day showcase of on-track action, featuring the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, the World of Outlaws Late Model Series, and the Super Dirt Car Big Block Modifieds. Single-day and 4-day ticket packages and camping information are all available at charlottemotorspeedway.com. Often imitated, never duplicated. The World of Outlaws World Finals invade the Charlotte Motor Speedway Dirt Track on the 6th of November through the 9th. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
The Renaissance Festival is back, Saturdays and Sundays, now through November 24th. Jousting, knights, mermaids, fairies, dragons, oh my! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com. Don't miss it!
Legendary music icon Jim Messina from Loggins and Messina, Poco, and Buffalo Springfield is playing live on Thursday, October 17th at 7 p.m. at Kane Center for the Arts. Learn more at kanearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org.
No radio? No worries.
Just ask Alexa to play WSIC.
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's the Scoreboard on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Oh, hey, hi, hello, didn't see you there. Welcome back. You're listening to the Scoreboard, 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. Let me know if you have a question. Well, just call me if you have a question. We can chat about sports. A reminder, this is not the home ad show. Do not call with your items yet. Do that from 9 to 11. So tomorrow morning. Just playing around with you guys. We're talking a little baseball, getting you up to speed on what happened last night, what's going on tonight. Tonight, we have a game between the Yankees and the Guardians. 7:38 will be the first pitch in that one. Tanner Bibby, Mike, and Garrett Cole are the projected starters for tonight's game. And I wouldn't expect that to change either. We're so close to first pitch now. If something does happen between one of those two pitches, then I'd say we see a change. But unless somebody gets severely injured in warmups, I doubt that we have any changes in the projected starters for tonight. Now, if the Yankees win, they're able to take maybe not a stranglehold on the series at 2-0, especially going into Cleveland for 3 consecutive games. But a 2-0 series lead would feel pretty insurmountable for the Guardians, who, let's be honest, they're not the scariest team in the playoffs this year. They kind of Well, in a way, I would say that they coasted through the regular season. Maybe not the best way to phrase it, but the Guardians led the AL Central almost start to finish. Now, there were a few moments at the end of the season where the Royals and the Tigers and even the Twins at one point, who ended up missing the playoffs, were really making a push to try to get that AL Central win, but the Guardians were able to hold on to it. And the Yankees, well, they were in a battle with the Orioles for the entire season in the AL East. So these two teams are two of the best in the American League. But something about the Guardians, I mean, it's their first time back in the playoffs, at least this far in the playoffs. First time into the ALCS since they went when they played the Cubs in what is probably the greatest World Series of all time. At least the greatest baseball game of all time. I don't know if anybody can argue with me that the Cubs and the Guardians Game 7 is the greatest baseball game of all time. You cannot argue that. We're not here to talk about the past, though. We're here to talk about what's going on now, what's going on tonight, and looking forward into the future. So the Yankees and the Guardians, Game 2. Now, I mentioned that I expect most of these series to go 6 or 7 games because of how stacked up everything was in the regular season. No team in Major League Baseball won more than 98 games this year. Everybody was pretty much on top of each other for the entire season. And we talked about it way back in April when the National League was all running at, there were 10 teams at 500 in the National League. And then you had 2 that were really better than the others. And then the rest of them, obviously not as good as the others. As you know, we weren't really giving that much attention to the Rockies and the Marlins as they were having a bad year. But I expect all of these to go 7, even like the competition's so close this year. I don't see how it can't. Now, maybe the Yankees and the Guardians could end early, just looking at it from yesterday. But those New York Mets, man, do not count them out. I don't know what happened in Citi Field this year, out in Queens. But something happened early in the season. They were terrible. Do you remember? I forget who the commentator was, but maybe you saw this. It was a pretty funny social media clip earlier in the year where the Mets were losing, and I believe it was Game 2 of a doubleheader, an early season double. It might not have been a doubleheader, but they were losing, and the commentator says, team's 0-5. They're losing 7-0. Nobody's at the ballpark. It feels like rock bottom. And that was the words that were used. Well, it doesn't feel like they're in rock bottom anymore, as they are, 3 wins away from another World Series appearance, their first one since they played against the Royals back in, I think that was I might get this one wrong. That, I believe, was a 2016 World Series. 16, because the Royals won it in 15. It was right around there, the mid-2010s. Not that important. Anyway, I do expect the Yankees to move on out of the American League, and I've been saying that the Dodgers are the most likely opponent. And I do still believe that. Even back in June when I was saying, the Yankees and the Dodgers are probably going to be the teams to move on. Just because they're the 2 big teams. They're spending the money. And they weren't going through this fluctuation during the season. The Yankees had their normal summer slump where they were great to start the year. And then they went into a summer slump. But they never really fell below what we expected them to be. They continued to fight for the division lead, and they ended up winning the division, but it just felt like it's a Dodger-Yankee year. And I'd said that's what Major League Baseball wants. They want Aaron Judge versus Shohei Ohtani. If you don't know, just watch a baseball game and look at the commercials that they're playing in between the games, in between innings. They are pushing for this. Now, obviously, they're not going to manipulate the game unless there's stuff going on that we don't know about, which I hope there isn't. It would really stink. But I think a better World Series would be Yankees and the Mets. I do. Subway Series. You have the Mets who, ever since Grimace showed up for them, they've been the best team in baseball. It's a great story. I might not personally like the Mets, but that is a great story in what they were able to do. And then you have the Yankees, the evil empire, as they've been dubbed, haven't won a World Series in 15 years. That's an eternity for the New York Yankees. It actually matches the longest that the Yankees have ever gone without a World Series. So if the Yankees don't win it this year, they will have officially gone the longest in their history without winning a World Series. Yeah, I know. There's some teams that haven't won it, that have been around for a long time. Cubs went over 100 years without it. That's just the state of baseball, man. It's always been a big market game. One more time, Yankees and Guardians later on tonight, 7:30. That'll be on TBS. And that's going to be a very good baseball game. Let's turn our attention to NASCAR real quick. I do want to at least bring up some more points from Sunday. Not the Xfinity race, man. We harped on that enough, throwing a caution when Parker Klingerman is an eighth of an inch before the start-finish line. I mean, I'll say it one more time. Even when NASCAR is correct, they're wrong. Don't know how they managed to do that, but they do it all the time. We had some words from Jeff Gordon, part of Hendrick Motorsports, earlier today on Sirius XM. Now, I don't have the clip, but I do have the transcription of what was said. And they were basically talking about the 48 car of Alex Bowman, and did he, hit something during the race that could have knocked weight off of the car to make it underweight. Well, here's the quote. We're going to go through this quote real quick from Jeff Gordon as he talked to Sirius XM on the morning drive. He said, quote, "You look at the race in general and the amount of contact, we wanted to really inspect the car fully to see if there was enough damage or was there something that got dislodged from the car. So NASCAR was great through the whole process. You can't inspect much at the racetrack, so we weren't really sure. But they took it over to the tech center, looked at it yesterday, being Monday, and thoroughly examined it and didn't find anything. So quite honestly, it's one of those things where NASCAR has minimum pre-race, minimum post-race weights, and our teams, in order to make the best performing race cars every week, know that we're going to stay as close to those numbers as possible. And in this case, the 48 car cut it too close and missed it. So that's on us. Pretty embarrassed by it and very disappointing. Yeah, I'd say it's disappointing because we haven't seen much controversy. I feel like we see penalties, L2, L3 penalties, whatnot, in NASCAR, and they get appealed and whatnot. But it feels like NASCAR in general and Hendrick Motorsports hasn't really had a controversy like this in quite some time. This is a big one. This has taken a car out of the playoffs, a car that was performing much better than it did during the regular season. Alex Bowman was on a tear in the playoffs. And a mistake by Hendrick Motorsports, and that car gets disqualified. Now we have to deal with Joey Logano in the playoffs, right? Yeah, I know, everybody's favorite driver, right? I don't know how NASCAR doesn't, or how Hendrick Motorsports doesn't at least try to appeal. I mean, we saw what Richard Childress did earlier in the year when every single person, in their opinion, said, yeah, Austin Dillon was wrong in what he did at Richmond. Richard, you got to stop trying to appeal. He went through every single appeal possible. Every single one. And it didn't work. If you're Hendrick, you at least got to try, right? Apparently not. I guess they got a little bit more common sense than that. We'll talk more about Las Vegas coming up this weekend. A little later in the week, we're going to sideline the NASCAR conversation. Obviously, unless something big happens. When we come back, talk some high school soccer. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, that cooler fall air has arrived, and we'll just be downright chilly, really, for much of the rest of the work week. Plenty of sunshine. High temperatures only getting into the mid-60s for this afternoon. We go back down to around 40 tonight. A couple of spots could even dip into the upper 30s around the outlying spots and farms, and low 60s for the rest of the work week. A couple of nights could even dip into the upper 30s, and a little bit of patchy frost on some of the farms. That's your forecast. The WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hello, everyone. This is Joshua Doby, president of North Main Financial Group. At North Main Financial Group, we move to where you need us. Investment management, insurance planning, and estate strategies. No two people are the same, so we customize our planning based upon your needs. Reach out to us at northmainfinancial.com. That's northmainfinancial.com.
Hi, this is Andy with Lake Mountain Coffee, located at 110 West Broad Street in Statesville. Did you know we also own and operate Statesville's first coffee roasting facility? We roast coffee beans for businesses, fundraising events, special occasions such as a wedding. We can even put a custom message on the back of your bags. If you're a company or simply someone with a coffee need, give us a call at 704-252-1886. And remember, if you want fresh, you must go local.
Have you taken the Desco Challenge? Desco is where the professional goes for electrical supplies.
My name is Ashley. I just redid the lighting in my home, and the customer experience at Desco was second to none.
See for yourself at DescoInc.com.
If you're a builder and you haven't went to Little Shaver's Wood Shop, you are missing all types of lumber products, hard to find woods and paneling materials that are in stock and ready to help you conquer anything the job throws your way. Locally owned, Little Shaver's Wood Shop has a friendly, knowledgeable staff to get you in, out, and on with your day. Little Shaver's Wood Shop, 3301 Salisbury Highway in Statesville. Little Shaver's Wood Shop, LILshavers.com.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshlawfirm.com.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't fix America's debt by starving its people.
Have your say.
One shooting after another, and we're doing nothing to solve it?
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
I'm Bryce Johnson with this Unpacking It Sports and Faith Minute. The Philadelphia Eagles ended the 2019 postseason in heartbreaking fashion when receiver Alshon Jeffrey dropped a catchable ball that eventually resulted in an interception. After the game, quarterback Nick Foles encouraged Jeffrey by telling him the team would not have won the previous year's Super Bowl without him. We can all relate to what it feels like to drop the ball during a critical time. In these situations, receiving encouragement and good reminders from others is vital for having a proper response. The Bible says anxiety in a man's heart weighs it down, but a good word makes it glad. We also need to step up and encourage others who are recovering from a mistake. They need to be reminded that they are loved and not defined by their dropped pass. Today, let's ask God to put someone on our minds in need of hearing an encouraging word. I'm Bryce Johnson, and you can unpack that. For more, go to unpackingit.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Chip makers led Wall Street lower today after Dutch chip maker ASML missed on earnings, and investors worried about tighter U.S. restrictions on chip sales. The Dow lost 325, or 0.75%. The S&P down 45, also 0.75%. The Nasdaq gave up 187, or 1%. Apple shares finished higher. They were up 1%. Today, the company introduced its new iPad minis that are powered by the A17 Pro chip and Apple Intelligence. Prices start at around $500. Customers can pre-order the iPad mini today with availability beginning next Wednesday. Look out, Disney. Universal plans to open its new Florida theme park as soon as Memorial Day. According to the Wall Street Journal, the company is planning to open the 750-acre Epic Universe Park earlier than expected. The theme park will have more Harry Potter elements as well as areas based on Super Mario Brothers and How to Train Your Dragon. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. It is past the halfway point now on the Scoreboard. Only 25 minutes to go. I know you're going to miss me. But hey, we're here every day, Monday through Friday, 5 to 6, talking about the world of sports. Right now, we got to give you an update on things going on in the local high school scene. Because there are things, we are in the middle of fall sports. And we talked about it yesterday. Somehow, volleyball season is already over. I don't know how it happened. Feels like we just started. But somehow, the volleyball regular season has already ended. And for most schools in our area, they only have about 2, maybe 3. One school that I saw had 4 more high school football games remaining. Another sport that's winding down, high school soccer, men's soccer, as there are a lot of schools in the area that only have 5 games remaining on their schedule. 5, that's it. Crazy. Crazy that we made it here so fast. Feels like we just started the school year. It does. Let's go over some schools in our area to keep an eye on. We're going to start out with some schools that could be having better years. Let's be honest. They haven't had the best year. Starting with Statesville High School, one that's right in the backyard here at WSIC. 3 wins, 14 losses, and 1 draw for Statesville High School. That soccer team has had a really rough go of it lately. They are currently nursing a 7-game losing streak. It's been some tough sledding. Now, yesterday they played West Iredell, and West Iredell also is a team that's not had that great of a year. We'll talk about them in just a minute. But West Iredell was able to take down Statesville 3-0, the final score in that one. Then Statesville is going to go over to North Iredell tomorrow, a home game for Statesville, as they begin their final 5 games of the year. Now, they're out of playoff contention, unfortunately, just kind of looking to have some fun in the rest of the year. I know a lot of seniors on that team are just going to be looking to win a game or 2 before their high school careers come to an end. And like we said, we'll talk about West Iredell now. They have 5 wins now on the year after they defeated Statesville High School 3-0. They were on a not terrible 4-game losing streak, but they were losing some games there. 5-13, 2-7 in the conference. That would be the Western Foothills 3A conference. I don't know if there's really any chance for West Iredell. It doesn't feel like it. Even if they win out, starting tomorrow against Hickory High School, which, man, you thought Hickory High School had a good football program. They also have a good soccer program. 13-3-1 for Hickory. But even if West Iredell wins out, they end the season 10-13 overall, 7-7 in the conference. I don't believe that would be good enough for a playoff spot come the postseason, but, we'll see. I know some of those seniors just want to win a game or 2 before the year ends, especially during a rough year like that. Another school in our area that has had a rough go of it, it's another Iredell directional school. That would be South Iredell. Now, they're really struggling as of late. They started the year 4-1-1. 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. They are now 4-11-1. South Iredell High School has lost 10 consecutive matches. And there have been some real tough ones to see in there. Earlier in the week, at the end of last week, they lost to Hickory Ridge High School 9-0. Now, they put up a fight against Lake Norman, going for a 3-2 loss, but man, there's some bad losses there. 10 in a row. 4 games remain in the season. No game today, no game tomorrow for South Iredell. But then on Thursday, they take on A.L. Brown. That'll be a home game. 2 home games and 2 road games remaining for South Iredell in their soccer season. Now we get into some schools in the area that are going to be in contention come playoff time. We're going to start with Mooresville. Mooresville High School has hit a bump, man. They have lost 4 consecutive soccer games, and they haven't played since last week. They got a week off here. Their next game isn't until the 22nd. Right now, Mooresville, 10 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw. The thing that concerns me about the record right now is the conference record where they are under 500, 3 wins, 5 losses in conference. Now, they still have 5 games remaining on the season, and all 5 of those games are conference games. 4 of the 5 games to end the season are conference games for Mooresville. So the best that they can do right now is finish in conference 7-5 and overall 15-7. I do think that would be enough to get them into the playoffs, but they got to turn it around. They're on a 4-game losing streak. They have only scored 1 goal in those 4 games, and they've given up 14 goals. So a real tough stretch here for Mooresville. Lake Norman, Cox Mill, A.L. Brown, and Hickory Ridge all beating up on this program over the past few days. If they can turn it around, I do expect them to go to the playoffs. Then you have Lake Norman, Mooresville's rival. Everybody knows that. 15 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw so far this year. 8-0 in conference. They have not lost a game in the Greater Metro 4A conference. Cox Mill High School is a game behind them at 7-1, and there is still a match between Lake Norman and Cox Mill in a few days. So there's a chance that the top of the standings of the 4A conference could change, but Lake Norman does have a game tonight to look forward to against Hickory Ridge High School. It'll be on the road, and it'll be a 7 o'clock kickoff on that one. Hickory Ridge having a very good year. They're 12-2. This is going to be a big game for seeding, for conference. And then on Friday, game against Cox Mill for Lake Norman. That really could determine this conference and who gets a good bid in playoffs. You want to get a good bid. You don't want to play a number 1 team in the second round, which we've seen happen to really good programs. It's just luck of the draw. You know, it's like the NCAA tournament, except with every sport in high school. It's just the luck of where you are on the bracket. So if you keep winning, you're going to have a good seed. You're not going to be playing that many teams that are barn burners until a little bit later on in those playoffs. Couple of schools remaining on the docket for today. We'll get up to another Iredell school, that being North Iredell High School. 10 wins, 3 losses, and 3 draws on the year. Having a very respectable year right now. They have won quite a few games here as of late. They went on a nice 4-game winning streak where they did not allow a single goal. And then they end up playing Hickory. And we've talked about Hickory time and time again. They have a good football team. They have a really good soccer team. 13-3, but North Iredell played Hickory to a draw. That game was last night. No more games for North Iredell until tomorrow when they go on the road to take on Statesville. And finally, my alma mater, Pine Lake. Pine Lake's had a really good year. 11 wins, 1 loss, and 3 draws. Most recently, they lost to Bradford Prep. The most recent loss was to Bradford Prep, and Bradford Prep is the number 1 team in the conference right now at 8-0. So that was a very big match that Bradford Prep was able to get. Then Pine Lake turned it around last night, beating Mountain Island Charter 1-0. They got a rest today before they're back in action on the road again tomorrow against Lincoln Charter. We got one more segment, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get into football. We have football news to talk about. Don't go anywhere. Don't even think about going anywhere. We're back after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, that cooler fall air has arrived, and we'll just be downright chilly, really, for much of the rest of the work week. Plenty of sunshine. High temperatures only getting into the mid-60s for this afternoon. We go back down to around 40 tonight. A couple of spots could even dip into the upper 30s around the outlying spots and farms, and low 60s for the rest of the work week. A couple of nights could even dip into the upper 30s, and a little bit of patchy frost on some of the farms. That's your forecast. The WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Lost Worlds Brewing Company in Cornelius presents their Sunday Fun Day on October 20th. Fleetwood Mac tribute band The Chain and Untethered Soul with frontman Nick Prestia take the stage for a day of live music. Lost Worlds Brewing is ready to welcome a big crowd to their back parking lot with a concert stage and sound system from Waves Entertainment. Lost Worlds off West Catawba Avenue in Cornelius presents Sunday Fun Day with an outdoor concert on October 20th. Monthly trivia with the WSIC gang is back at Micaiah's in Mooresville on October 22nd. Join us at Micaiah's off exit 33 from I-77 for Halloween-themed trivia on Tuesday night, October 22nd at 8 p.m. Trivia winners will receive a family 4-pack of tickets to the Renaissance Festival. Have some October spooky season fun with WSIC on-air hosts and try to win Renfest tickets with Halloween trivia Tuesday, October 22nd at Micaiah's in Mooresville. The Dirt Track at Charlotte Motor Speedway presents the World of Outlaws World Finals on the 6th of November through the 9th. Catch Dirt Racing's top 3 series in a title-deciding 4-day showcase of on-track action, featuring the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, the World of Outlaws Late Model Series, and the Super Dirt Car Big Block Modifieds. Single-day and 4-day ticket packages and camping information are all available at charlottemotorspeedway.com. Often imitated, never duplicated. The World of Outlaws World Finals invade the Charlotte Motor Speedway Dirt Track on the 6th of November through the 9th. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays, now through November 24th. Jousting, knights, mermaids, fairies, dragons, oh my! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com. Don't miss it!
Hey folks, you know Randy Marion Ford Lincoln in Statesville is known for the prices and selection, but I tell you what, you may not have known the distinction that this store received with Ford and Lincoln this year. We received the President's Award for 2023 for Ford for the 5th year in a row. We also received it for Lincoln for the first year, and I tell you, those awards don't come easily. It all boils down to taking care of the customers and having the vehicles you want in stock for you to buy.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Final segment today, ladies and gentlemen. Last chance to get your phone calls in, 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. Big shout out to all the boys watching on YouTube. I see you there. I know you're watching. I know you can't get enough of me. Thanks for stopping by. We got to talk about things going on in the world of the NFL because we have some pretty big breaking news that happened early this morning, and then one that came in a couple hours later, and it was 2 wide receivers that were traded. 2, yeah. Devontae Adams, former Green Bay Packer, and now former Las Vegas Raider, has been traded to the New York Jets. Jets, oh no. I don't know how to digest this one. I don't. Because I keep watching the Jets play, and I'm just waiting for them to show the promise that everybody's talking about. That we all waited for last year that tragically got cut short because of the torn Achilles. And I'm waiting for them to show that they're a great team, and it just doesn't happen. I'm not sure that trading for a number one wide receiver is going to alleviate the issues that the Jets have had all year. And they're not in a terrible spot. That's the craziest part about it. The game last night, Monday night, between the Bills and the Jets, and we got to talk about that real quick. Oh my God, an ungodly amount of penalties in that game. I mean, clean it up, guys. Clean it up. But the Bills end up just barely sneaking away with the win in that one. That was a game for first place in the AFC East. It was. If the Jets had won that game with everything they've gone through this year already, they would have been in first place in their division. Now they're a couple of games back, and they sit with a abysmal 2-4 record. And I keep seeing stats comparing this year to last year. And how did the Jets turn out through 6 games in the season last year? Well, through 6 games last year, the New York Jets were 3-3. They were 500. They were 500, and they were a game better. They're 2-4 now. With Aaron Rodgers, they were 500 with Zach Wilson as their quarterback. I don't understand. This franchise has to be cursed. They have to be. I feel bad for them at this point because you get Aaron Rodgers, and we all know what happened last year. The hype, running out with the American flag, and oh, this is going to be, oh wait, 3 plays later, it's over. It's done. This year, it's like, yeah, we got him back, and we got Hassan Reddick. And, oh, wait, no, we don't have Hassan Reddick. Never mind, scratch that. And, oh, wait, Aaron Rodgers looks like he's 40 years old. And, oh, no, that offense doesn't look good. And, oh, man, it doesn't seem like the chemistry is there between a lot of people. And, oh, no, and now the coach is gone. It doesn't feel like rock bottom for the Jets, but they're getting awfully close. Because, like, what's the plan after Rodgers for the Jets? They have a really good defense. They have an offense. I'm sorry, let me rephrase this. They have a defense that should be really good. They have an offense that has playmakers and should be really good. But what happens a year from now, 2 years from now, when Aaron Rodgers is gone from the Jets? What's the plan then? Are we even concerned about 2026, 2027? If you're Woody Johnson, like, what's the plan here? Now you're giving up capital, and granted, it wasn't that much draft capital to go get Davante Adams, who, in my opinion, isn't what they need. But, you know, I'm sitting behind a microphone. What do I know? Davante Adams is 31 years old. Well past his prime for a wide receiver, but still a very good receiver at that. I just don't know if this is the missing piece. And we've heard about it for 2 years now. Davante Adams, is he going to go to the Jets to play with Aaron Rodgers? Remember how good they were together back in Green Bay? Yeah, but that was a few years ago now. That was quite a few years ago. I guess we're in sit around and wait mode when it comes to the Jets now. Because I can't put a finger on it. And at 2-4, I'm not counting them out, but I'm also still perplexed by the people that picked the Jets to win the Super Bowl. Like, what prompted people to do that? The Jets, they've stunk for the past how long? They've been awful. And now you're expecting a team to go win the Super Bowl when they haven't even played with the quarterback that they have yet. Aaron Rodgers is not Tom Brady. He's not going to go win a Super Bowl with a team the first year he's playing with them. And I will consider this as Aaron Rodgers' first year, right? He hurt all last year. I just don't see it. I don't see the Jets being a viable team the rest of the year into the offseason. Now, next week's game for the Jets is going to be a big tell. Sunday Night Football. Yeah, the Jets are on primetime again. I know. I don't know how it happened either, but the Jets got primetime football again. Sunday night, they play on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now it seems like the Steelers are going to be benching Justin Fields, even though they're 4-2, which doesn't make much sense to me either. And they're going to put Russell Wilson in there. At least that's what the reports are here early in the week. It's going to be a telltale game next weekend. And I'll tell you what, we said it during the Steelers and the Cowboys game. I said that it looked like a game between two teams where you look at them and they go, hey, they're really good, but blank, fill in the blank. I think Sunday night after we watch the Steelers and the Jets play, we may have the exact same reaction where we go, hey, those two teams, they're pretty good, but... And if the Jets don't win, they fall to 2-5. It feels like that would be a season that cannot be recovered at that point. At 2-5 in that division, in the AFC nonetheless, it just feels like it would be too much to overcome at that point. So that is where the Jets are at. The other big piece of news that dropped earlier today, the Buffalo Bills. The Bills made a trade as they trade a couple of draft picks for wide receiver Amari Cooper, who is 30 years of age. So an older receiver. 30 years old is old for a receiver. It is. Maybe not for a quarterback anymore, but for a wide receiver, 30 is getting up there. We'll pause that real quick and go to our phone lines as we have a caller patiently waiting. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the Scoreboard. What do you have for me today?
Hey, Joe. Big fan of the Scoreboard here. I just have one quick question for you.
Sure.
You know, with NASCAR, Hendrick Motorsports has won 2 champions so far since 2020 with Chase Elliott and 2021 with Kyle Larson.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, even though Alex Bowman is out of the playoffs now, unfortunately, that William Byron can be the third Hendrick Motorsports driver to win a championship since 2020?
You know, it's interesting that you bring that up because I don't think it's out of the possibility. When we talked about things at the beginning of the year, obviously you clinch into the playoffs early with that Daytona 500 win, but in the first 10 races of the season, it looked like William Byron was going to be the driver to beat. He got 3 wins early in the season, one coming at Coda, and I forget where the third one was at, but he got 3 early. And I said midway through the year, your final 4 this year is probably going to be 2 Hendrick cars and 2 Gibbs cars. You're going to get Larson and Byron with Bell and Hamlin as your final 4. I still think that that's going to be the final 4 when we go to Phoenix, and I'm not counting out William Byron. I know he's had a rough stretch over the past few months, no wins to talk about, but he's getting better, it seems, some more consistent finishes. I would not count William Byron out, and it would be nice for me personally to see a 24 car win a championship, former Gordon fan and whatnot. But you bring up a good point there, man. You do bring up a good point. I think Byron, if he does, we're going to be thinking about Hendrick Motorsports in a whole different light as possibly one of their most dominant eras ever with the way that NASCAR is now.
I got you. Yeah, I'm a former Gordon fan here too. So I would like to see that 24 end up in victory lane here come Phoenix in November. Thank you for picking up, Joe.
Absolutely. Thank you for calling in. You have a great rest of your day. Ladies and gentlemen, we are heading to the final couple of seconds of the program today. As we do, we're going to do one This Day in Sports History to end the program. Just one, because we don't have all that much time. It was on this day in 1989 that Wayne Gretzky passed Gordie Howe as the NHL's all-time top scorer, and he will probably never be caught. Thanks for tuning into the Scoreboard today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be here tomorrow, same time, same place. Don't miss it. Until then, have a good night.
Serving you better than ever before. 105.9, 100.7. WSIC, Statesville, Mooresville, North Charlotte.